G'day everyone, I'm AzureBlaze, and welcome back to my Mario and Kirby Marathon thing that I haven't figured out a better name for yet. In this episode, I'll be discussing my thoughts on Kirby's Dream Land 2. The game released in 1995, and after Kirby's big home console debut with Kirby's Adventure, the series returns to its roots on the Game Boy. And even though I feel like the original did quite well for Game Boy standards, this game takes it to another level. Instead of 5 stages like the original game, Dreamland 2 includes more than 30 levels if you include the boss rooms. The levels are split into different areas with hub worlds to access each one, like in Kirby's Adventure. There's a good amount taken from Kirby's Adventure, the primary thing being copy abilities. Whilst I cannot say much about them, as the only times I used them was when they were necessary to complete the level, they seem to be carried over quite well and without many, if any, cutbacks from what I can tell at least. As I said, I didn't use them that much, and I didn't use them that much in Adventure either. Luckily, something not carried over is the inconsistent performance from Adventure, at least on the NSO version of Dreamland 2, and despite how big this game is, it runs quite well for a Game Boy game, which I feel is quite impressive personally. The Game Boy limitations do show in some areas, however. Screen crunch was a common issue, especially against the Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright boss battle, and 7-6 wasn't very fun. It had auto-scrolling sections and parts of the level that would end without warning, like you couldn't see them coming up, therefore it led to me being crushed multiple times when I was playing, which made it feel like luck as opposed to me losing because I did something wrong, which was kind of frustrating. A brand new addition to this game is the inclusion of Rick, Kine, and Ku. They are 3 animal buddies that help Kirby on his journey. Each one adds an extra lot of health to Kirby and excels in different sort of terrains, or biomes I guess. Rick the hamster is for land, Kine the fish for water, and Ku the bird in the air. They are fun new additions and add a good amount of variety whenever they are obtained in the game. As for most of the levels, I felt they were quite good for the most part. One of my favourite areas was probably Area 4, otherwise known as Iceberg. Whilst the ice's slipperiness was not the best, the mixture of ice and snow with the rest of the aesthetic looked really neat in my opinion, and the general level designs worked quite well, I feel. When it comes to any specific levels that stand out, however, I can't say there's many in particular that come to mind, or I guess any that in particular stood out to me. Apart from 7-6, which I mentioned before, next to its auto-scroller. Frustrating. However, I think I can at least say that I feel the area, the levels are quite well designed and really fun to go through. And yeah, I don't know, I think the music is sort of the same for me as well, where it's sort of it's all good, however there's nothing that particularly comes to mind. And I think this is because of how I played the game. I sort of played it incrementally over the course of almost 2 months, on and off every now and then. I think it was almost 2 months. On and off every now and then, and yeah, it's sort of it led to me not sort of keeping anything in my brain, I guess, about each of the levels each time. In terms of the bosses, there are 2 types: main and end of area bosses, and reoccurring mini bosses, I guess, enemies that show up from time to time that are a little bit more difficult than general enemies. One of the mini bosses that kept showing up in particular was an umbrella looking thing that kept launching their shoe at Kirby. That was simply really fun. I don't know, not fun, sorry, really funny. I don't know, I think that I found it kind of interesting. It did show up a lot though. When it comes to the main bosses, all of them are quite fun, I feel. Some returning standouts include Wispy Woods, this time with swirly glasses and a mask, which, I don't know, I found that quite funny to be honest. Cracker has some new moves and some little friends, and King DDD, which I found actually quite difficult. It took me a while to get past him, and I don't know, it was kind of fun. As for the final boss, Dark Matter, I did not end up battling him, and that is because of the new collectibles. I think they're known as rainbow gems or something, and to be honest, I don't really have the time to go through and get them all to get the final boss, which is kind of frustrating because it would have been nice to have battled the boss before this. Oh well, I guess there's not much else I can do there. Yeah, and another collectible, these little stars, and when enough are collected, they give Kirby a life, which is really neat as well. I kind of like that. Yeah. However, as for I guess the proper ending of the game, well, I did complete the main game, the proper ending of the game with Dark Matter. I didn't get to it simply because of how I've been playing it. I haven't had time, really. It's kind of frustrating. We've been playing Sonic Cross Shadow Generations the whole time, and lots of other stuff in real life and everything like that. I haven't really had time to like go full into these games, and that's one of the reasons why this series isn't my final thoughts on these games series. It's only like my thoughts, because I could come back to these later down the line. My thoughts will probably change if I were to go back to 100% them later down the line. Like, this is not my final thought. Literally, it's not my final thought on the games. It's simply my thoughts on it from when I play it and all that sort of thing. However, yeah, I guess an overall statement about the game. I feel this game is a massive step up for the first game, especially for Game Boy standards, and a great addition to the Game Boy library. Next up is Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES and the SNES version as part of Mario All-Stars. That might not be next month, however, because Christmas is coming up. It's going to be really busy. I've got other things happening. There's some other videos that I might get out, some more final thoughts, or even a normal thoughts video that I might get out instead. Hopefully, a lot of things happen. Therefore, it might not be next month. It'll probably be the month after. I mean, if it was next month anyway, it would have released on like the last day of the year, which is probably not a good day to release that sort of thing anyway. Therefore, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And it gives me time to catch back up on these games because I've fallen really far behind. There was a point where I was able to I was like 1 to 2 games ahead at all times for this marathon, and now I literally finished playing Dreamland 2 like yesterday as the day of this recording, and I have like, I don't know, 5 days left, less maybe, to get it done, get it all done up. Yeah, I think it's like 4 or 5 days to finish the video, and these ones take a lot longer to edit even though they are shorter. Yeah, anyway, I believe that's all from me. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I shall be back in the next one. Cheers everyone.